News from the world of comics. This is from IGN. I got an archive. I'll link it in the description box. Former editor-in-chief Joe Quesada leaves Marvel after 22 years. And this is where the applause starts because he's done fucking terrible job for Marvel. But the subheadline: Quesada oversaw one of the most creatively fertile periods in Marvel Comics history. That right there is why I got it on archive. That is complete and utter bullshit. Nobody is gonna fucking agree with that unless they're a complete idiot. Marvel has shrunk. They've seen their just sales just go down in the crapper, right into the toilet. Anyway, Joe Quesada, former Marvel Comics editor-in-chief and current executive vice president and creative director of Marvel Entertainment, has announced he's leaving the company after 22 years. He made this surprise announcement via Twitter, blah blah blah, this kind of stuff. Here it is. Like I said, I'll link it so you can read it for yourself if you want. He's talking about he's gonna do this, and all the usual type of shit. And it's like, man, okay, dude, he sees the writing on the wall that Marvel has been going downhill for a long time. Their sales have been going in the tank. You got they try to shine it up here, but anyway, it talks about his long and highly influential Marvel career, which is actually correct, but not in a way, not in a good way that they think. Thanks in no small part, blah blah blah. This paved the way for Quesada's rise as Marvel's editor-in-chief in 2000. His tenure proved to be highly transformative for the company. Yeah, because it went straight fucking downhill. Oversaw the rise of Marvel's Ultimate Universe line. Okay, the revamped Avengers franchise and major crossovers like House of M, Civil War, and Secret Invasion. That's why they have fucking events constantly. The way Marvel is, they literally have an event going every single month. It's not like like one event leads to the next, which leads to the next, which leads to the next, and it's like, oh my god, dude, what the fuck, Anyway, but they start talking about he took a more active role in developing the company's various multimedia projects and all this kind of stuff. And, probably the thing that he might be worst or most known for, at least in my opinion, is the One More Day storyline for Spider-Man. If you don't happen to know, if you happen to follow the comics, they did a thing where they wanted to basically retcon Peter Parker and Mary Jane Watson being married. They didn't have them married anymore because they thought it would be more interesting. I forget the exact quote that Joe said because this was like his idea and stuff. But it was something about they wanted to be able to tell stories that they couldn't do it before, which is fucking stupid. But anyway, they retconned it by basically having Aunt May get killed or get shot and she's dying. And so basically Peter makes a deal with Mephisto to basically get rid of their marriage. You're going to forget that you two ever knew each other, talking to Peter and Mary Jane, in exchange for, May living. And it just completely did away with everything. It was just the fucking stupidest fucking thing ever. It was just unbelievably dumb. I won't rail on it too much on, in case you're not a big fan of comics, but basically this guy has been one of the spearheads that has led to the whole woke shit that you see in Marvel so much. It's so bad that basically this isn't related to the woke stuff. DC has said that they won't work with Marvel as long as Joe is there. So now you might see a little bit more collaboration between the two. We'll see. I don't really, it's possible. Quesada, I always kind of liked his art and stuff. I always thought he was a talented penciler and stuff, but it was just like, what the hell? Like, you shouldn't be involved in this kind of stuff. They need to get people who are actually, keen on business and stuff. You shouldn't be asking a penciler to be doing this kind of stuff. Hey, we're going to put you in charge creatively of this entire company. And when it goes straight down to the fucking toilet and stuff, be surprised. Oh, look out, But anyway, they mention Quesada's departure comes 2 years after similarly influential Dan DiDio departed as DC Comics co-publisher and everything. Basically, to sum it up real quick, to boil it down, a lot of these guys are seeing the writing on the wall that the comics industry is shrinking. Now, it would be shrinking regardless of whatever happened. I mean, the woke shit has been going, has been really hurting the industry. But so is also the standards. Because they'll be like, hey, let's bring in Vita Ayala, who's a fucking shit writer, who's a terrible writer. And there's a whole bunch of others. I mean, Gary Dugan's a horrible writer. I could start listing people. Fucking terrible. And they're only there because they toe the company line or they check a box Hey, I'm a person of color, I'm trans, I'm this, I'm that, whatever. And it's like, but they fucking not good at what they do. They're fucking terrible. They're bad writers. Some of the art, they actually have some decent artists and stuff still. But most of the writers in Marvel and DC are fucking horrible. They don't know shit about how to structure stories and so on. Anyway, just to give you an example real quick, and then I'll wrap this up. They love to have prom nights in their comics all the time. They also love to have characters sitting around eating and talking about eating, and just instead of the action. Like one of the biggest reasons that comic sales have gone down is the lack of action. Like they'll have an entire issue, say it's 28 pages, 25 pages, whatever the hell, and there'll be 1 or 2 pages of fighting, period. And the entire thing, the whole rest of it is just some fucking yip yap talking and stuff. And it's like, well, no, what the fuck, dude? I ain't gonna. Plus, also, prices are $4, $5, $6 or more now, and it's like you're paying, $5 for a comic that features all talking and stuff, and it's not even interesting talking. It's just a bunch of bullshit. It's just people talking about, oh, so how you like this, and complaining about patriarchy and talking about they had an issue of a Star Wars comic come out that was all around a bake-off. Like, what the fuck, dude? Who's gonna want to see that shit? Who's gonna want to read that? Anyway, I've already gone over 6.5 minutes. It was longer than I was expecting, so I'll go ahead and wrap this up here. I'm glad that Joe Quesada's gone. I don't think this will truly, bring Marvel back to what they could be because there's still a bunch of his goons hanging around there. And plus, also, we don't know who's going to take over. If somebody of quality took over, I'd be a little more excited. But, as it is, it's good that he's going because I'm not a fan. But, yeah, I'll reserve judgment to see how good this makes things, or if it does. Thank you very much for watching, and have a good one.